I'm mad.
Oh no. Okay.
Have you? When I wash my hands,
Oh no.
the water
It's
is
good that you wash
so
them.
I was gonna
every
say, at
time.
least you do.
I also have a story about that, but
Nope.
nope. The water is so close to the back part of the sink, I can't get my hands under it.
That's completely dependent on like the faucet, though.
But I feel
What
like
do you
most
mean?
bathroom
can't
faucets,
get
like when
your
you wash
hands-
your hands, are you able to get the water stream like in your palm?
No.
Yeah.
Then
I
how do
don't
you wash
know.
your palm?
No, I think
What do you
so.
mean?
I can't
You
like
get your hands wet.
right.
like-
Isaac,
you get them wet and
did
then
you
you
not learn to do this?
you get water and then you rub.
Well, no, you put. Oh.
How do you wash your hands?
Do you wash like do you put water on your hands first and then
I'm
put
soap first.
Soap first, yes. You just
Yeah. I go
and then
soap,
you just,
rub.
Yeah, and then
And then I'm like a acrobat trying to rinse all the soap off because the sink is so close to the wall. I can't
Okay.
get it.
I will.
And
say,
then if
like,
I go up and I'm like away from the actual sink where I can get my whole hand, it splashes everywhere.
I think that's fair for like public restrooms because at my house
You don't wash your
specifically,
hands.
I do wash my hands. One of the first things I did when I moved into that house, which the faucets were all leaky anyways, but I replaced all the faucets and I got the tall ones that like
See?
extend out.
That should be standard.
Yeah, and I do
more
love
money.
them.
That's okay. I pay enough in taxes. I know they don't. My taxes don't go to sinks, but somebody spend my
I pay
money.
enough in taxes. Fix my sink.
okay. Well, speaking of washing our,
I could go on for hours.
he's still going on about it. We're gonna go ahead and get
so
started.
frustrating.
So, welcome to No Dumb Questions.
We'll teach Isaac how to wash his hands properly.
Look, there's going to be people out there that agree with me on this. It's so
Yeah, let us
hard.
know in the comments if you actually think
Thank you.
that
Please be on my
you
side.
agree with Isaac. I don't have that problem.
I'm good.
So, welcome to No Dumb Questions, where we scour the internet for questions about personal finance that we don't think get answered enough. I'm Reagan.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Ashton.
And we're going to start today kind of open-ended with a question I found on the Muse. It says, how much should I invest? Which can be kind of interpreted a lot of ways, dollar amount, percentage, depends on how old you are, and trying to steer clear of like personalized advice. But general consensus, a lot of people out in the personal finance content world have a bunch of different takes on it. So I don't know
Yeah.
what you guys think from that.
Well, I think the most common response, and that's not to say that it's applicable to
Yeah.
everyone in every situation, but I think, a lot of people try to just establish a baseline, and I've seen that be 10 to 20% of your income. I mean, that could vary.
It's a good range.
Yeah. But if you're thinking more realistically and younger,
It's hard.
realistically, you're looking probably more 3 to 10% of your income,
Yeah.
and I think that's an okay.
I think 10 is
place
good
to
depending
start.
on
Yeah.
obviously your age. Like
And how, yeah.
you have kids, you get married, like that's got to
Yeah.
go up a little bit,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have an emergency fund. Like we really got to start doing that. And that also kind of goes, it's not just how much should you be saving, that is how much should you be investing. And so, and we just did an episode about the difference in those, and I just got confused on it. But it's not just saving; it's also investing. So, like if you're putting away 10% into an investment account, that's going to go up as you need more money to live. Which
Right.
I think in the state of the economy right now, that number's going up. So if you can save a little bit more or
Yeah.
invest a little bit more, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I also
But-
think a good place to start is if you do have a 401k plan or
Yeah.
any employer sponsored plan where they will match some of your contribution, is just to get the full match. So if you get
Yeah.
a 3% employer match in your 401k, then you should be investing 3%.
So how does a match work? Like if let's say I work somewhere that has a 401k and they offer a 3% match, like what does that mean?
So that means out of every single paycheck, if they have a 401k plan set up that is invested, then you will contribute 3% of your paycheck straight to it, and they will essentially just deposit that matching 3% into your 401k. And so a lot of people like to think of it as free money. I mean,
Yeah,
it
suppose
kind
you
of
get-
is.
Make the argument.
Yeah. So
An automatic 100% on your contribution.
yes, yeah. But there's places that offer a 6% match. So
Yeah.
if you're contributing only 4%, when
Right.
they're offering to match up to 6%, then you're losing
You're missing
2% of free money
Right.
Yeah.
that could be going into your future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of like other financial information out there, like usually the first step, and like the Dave Ramsey's The Money Guys, like one of the first steps is maxing out your 401k almost before anything. And there's arguments there to, and this could be a whole episode, but we may not want to get into it, on should I max a Roth or max out my match contribution. Very case by case, so I won't get into that. But the cool part is there's a lot of companies right now. I know we're in Northwest Arkansas, so Walmart's very prevalent,
Yeah.
but they offer Roth 401k contributions, which is where a lot of people are leaning right now, with historically taxes just going up and up and up, which is very great. And so I wanted to take a little bit of time here to talk about the difference between like tax deferred money and then tax free money.
Thanks.
And then because Roth is relatively new, I don't know, what year did Roth come out? Do you remember off the top of your
Let me
head?
look
Not
it
off
up.
the top of my head.
I'm going to guess 2003.
Ooh.
I used to know it.
2005.
Okay. Roth IRAs were
Into the 90s,
introduced
isn't it?
in 1998.
Okay. 98. Fun fact. Roth IRA, the R is capitalized
Yes. Why
Yeah.
is that?
because the politician who pushed it, his last name was Roth.
Oh,
It's a person.
Roth 401k, 2006.
Oh,
Okay.
So,
there we go.
there you go. You're
That was
Reagan
close.
wins. Reagan wins.
that was a total guess. So.
And so being able to contribute to a Roth, especially when you're younger and having those dollars grow, and to focus a little bit on the difference, tax deferred, when you take, let's say you do the 3% match, so you're contributing 3% of your paycheck into a pre-tax account. So the 3% is coming out before you pay taxes on it, lowering the amount that you're taxed on when you get that paycheck. The twist to that is when you take it out after you're 59 and a half,
Yeah.
you pay taxes like it was income.
Right.
And that's what we would call a traditional IRA, a rollover IRA, tax deferred money. You're deferring the taxes.
Yep.
Whereas with a Roth, you're going to contribute money you've already paid taxes on, and then it's going to grow tax free. So then when you take it out later in life, it's coming out tax free.
Right.
And so huge advantage if you can get started earlier, because hopefully you're in a lower tax bracket in your younger part of your career. So you're paying less taxes on those dollars that's going into it,
Right.
and then letting that compound over the years.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good distinction. And please check if you have a Roth 401k option at your work,
Yeah.
because that is relatively new.
Roths were like, when I first learned about them, it's like, oh, that's kind of like a game changer.
Big time.
In your young years, I remember I was like, I need to open one of those, and
Yeah.
I'm going to start contributing, even in college. It's like, I'm going to contribute as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then first job every year since, I've just maxed out what I can contribute,
Yeah.
which is, it's 65. I think it moved to
It's
70.
7,000 this
now.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
So
I mean,
it
that's
raises every year.
it's a good chunk of money, and
It adds up.
it adds up. And if it's invested in something, it's only going to continue to grow. And then, yeah, I just feel like the benefits of that outweigh a lot of
For sure.
other options.
Yeah. And there's one on that. I used to teach at a high school with the smelly kids. And
That don't wash their hands.
look, not all of them were smelly, but if you were, you know who I'm talking to.
Oh,
You
no.
can cut that if you want. I don't care. I taught business classes and like personal investing stuff. And I did a compound interest calculator, which we'll talk about in another episode. I talked about Ross. Then I showed, if you can even contribute, $100, $200 a month, even showed them what maxing it out looks like, which is a little more than $500 a month, and compound that over 30 years with just average market returns is crazy. And so like watching a 17-year-old see like he can have many hundreds, thousands, maybe even $1 million in an account just by taking steps today was really cool information for them.
I think,
no, you're
story
good.
side note, kind of along the same lines as what you were saying.
Yeah.
Whenever I first kind of was introduced to a Roth and realized all of the benefits of it. I had opened mine probably that month or something, and deposited some cash in there, invested it. And I was in the library studying with a friend because I was still in college at this time. And she was a nursing student. And I was just kind of telling her about it because she's just nursing student, finance world, very different. So we always like to kind of just poke each other's brains about it. And I actually made her open a Roth that day, and she deposited $20 and invested it. And I was so proud of it. Carson, if you see this, put another 20 in there. But it was just that little step. I mean, you know, maybe it's gone up since then. But it, you know, even just kind of taking that small step and introducing other people to what it is, I think is, you know, something that a lot of younger people, they don't.
I feel like that's kind of our goal,
know.
like with this
podcast,
the education
is just
piece. Like, hey, you know, we're going to try and help.
Yeah. And it could be, you know, $20 if that's all you have to start with right now.
There's a very key thing that is perfect for the show I just thought of. No dumb questions. So I have several friends that they've complained that like, well, my Roth, it hasn't grown. I've had it for 2 years. It hasn't done anything. And I go look at it and they never actually invested the money. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes.
Like they just put money in the account and think that's the final step.
Right.
And there's actually, if you think of it like a bank account or another investment account, you just moved cash into another place. You still have to invest it. So just contributing to the Roth is step one. Or contributing to any investment account is step one. You actually have to take the steps to buy a stock or buy a fund of some sort. And so that's big.
That is key, actually. Yeah.
So I came from not only teaching, but the world of real estate and on like real estate social media. And I think it's kind of trickled into a lot of places is this like craze of 401ks are a scam. And I don't know if you guys have seen these guys and they come on the screen like screaming at you like 401k is a scam. It is a tax write-off for your company. They are actually paying you less because of it. And why would you want to pay taxes later? You should pay taxes now. All these things. They freak out. And then at the end of every video, and I challenge you, go out and look up one of these 401ks or scam videos and fast forward to the very end and they will sell you something. I promise. Every single time. It drives me insane. So I just want to make a clear point of like, not a scam. We work with people every day who are, you know, a lot of millionaires come out of this. I think the stat, there were varying numbers on a lot of websites, but there's like upwards of 500,000 current millionaires just in their 401ks right now. So this is not outside investment, not savings, but just from that piece. And it grows every month. I think the month before it was like 469. Like more people are growing these things, taking advantage of these things. And so just make sure like don't fall for the magic that people say online of like don't contribute to your 401k. Also with our generation, I don't know if you have friends that have the options like, well, I'd rather have the money now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What about future you?
Yeah. What about future you? You know what? Oh, that's their problem. Like, no, it's your problem right now. You know?
Still you.
It's still you. And so just making sure you're thinking a little bit further than 5 inches. Have a 50,000 step view.
Yeah.
Your future self will think.
I was just gonna say, I think that kind of shows there's something to be said about, you know, you can paint any picture and say, this is bad because this, and this. And, you know, it's a scam. You can make 401ks look bad. You can make Christmas look bad if you only show half the picture. And so I would just say that speaks to doing your research and really kind of getting to know something before you just write it off in a sense, especially when it comes to like financial things. Yeah.
Absolutely. This last point was, I didn't put where I got it from, but I'm sure it was somewhere, either the Muse or Reddit, where we normally get a lot of these. Yeah. It says, what if my company doesn't offer a 401k? And so there are a lot of companies that don't have that option or any sort of retirement saving option, actually. And so like what options are available to individuals that have to do their own kind of retirement savings? So,
I mean, off the top of my head, you can
Sure.
do a simple
Yeah.
plan. I think a set plan.
Yeah. So yeah, SEPs. We have SEPs are really
pretty popular.
popular with the self-employed people
Yeah, for
because
sure.
the contribution limits are super high.
Yep.
And we can get into the nitty-gritty of that, but with the SEP plan, you have to contribute the same to everybody. So if you're the
Yes.
only employee,
That's
you
great.
can get a ton in there.
Yeah.
But if you have a bunch of employees, it gets a little interesting. And so
Yeah.
simples are great. If a lot of smaller companies will start those,
Yeah.
and they have a match portion as well, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
so just opening, a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, even like a non-qualified investing account, which
Yeah.
we've talked about traditional versus Roth. Non-qualified is money you've paid tax on. It's an after-tax account. You're taxed every time you sell a position, whereas in the IRAs, it's all tax deferred or tax free, so you won't see any of that. And it's another way to just kind of get some money in the market, saving for a later date.
Yeah. So just kind of, I feel like if you would have told me 3-4 years ago, go open an IRA, I would have laughed and probably walked away, but I don't know what
No
he just
idea.
told me to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as hard
No.
as it seems. It's very simple. It's just, if it makes it easier to comprehend, it's just opening a bank account.
Yeah.
There's nothing that should be super scary about an IRA. It is just, like Isaac kind of explained, a tax deferred bank account.
Yeah.
So you can go open one at a, brokerage firm or
Yeah.
really.
You can do it online
Yeah.
now. Banks will
Not
banks will have
sponsored,
them.
but Fidelity.
Yeah.
Fidelity,
Fidelity,
Schwab.
Schwab. Yeah.
But it's, if you're working at a place that doesn't offer a kind of 401k or any employer sponsored plan, then open an IRA, and it is not scary. It's not as scary as it
Not as
sounds.
scary as it
Even
sounds.
even if you do have a 401k, it's still not a bad idea to
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
that up on your own.
Yeah, do a little extra. Be cautious. We've talked a lot about how great they are. Because they're so great, there are a lot of like caps in place to keep you. So like if you make too much money, you can't contribute to a Roth.
Right.
And even then it's capped at $7,000 this year.
Right.
With traditional IRAs, there's caps on what you can write off. And so you can contribute $7,000 to a traditional, but if you make too much money, you can't take that deduction. And so it really isn't tax deferred anymore. There's a lot of these little things that if you're unsure of, reach out to somebody, financial professional, go to any bank. I'm sure there's somebody there in the wealth management department that would help you out.
Yeah.
And just answer these questions. Just make sure you're educated before you start throwing money around.
For sure.
Just because whenever you realize how easy it is to get started, that kind of lowers your guard a little bit and can trick you into making some mistakes. And so just make sure you're well educated before doing anything crazy. And anything else? You guys feel good?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel great. My hands are clean.
The top of mine are. Don't
Just
don't
the
shake
top.
my hand down here. All right.
Oh no.
Life is not a fairy tale. If you lose your shoes at midnight, call an Uber.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Leave your questions in the comments, and we will see you next time.